A South Atlantic spring setting the stage for conflict. The Falkland Islands, a remote archipelago in the South Atlantic, became the unlikely battleground for a short but fierce war in 1982. Argentina, ruled by a military junta, claimed sovereignty over the islands they called Islas Malvinas, a long-standing dispute with the United Kingdom. The British, who had administered the islands for over 150 years, maintained that the Falkland Islanders themselves should decide their future. With a population of mostly British descent, the islanders overwhelmingly wished to remain a British-dependent territory. In the spring of 1982, amidst growing economic and political turmoil at home, the Argentine junta made a fateful decision to seize the Falkland Islands by force. They calculated that the British, geographically distant and preoccupied with other matters, would not mount a significant military response. This miscalculation would prove disastrous for Argentina, but it would also plunge the United Kingdom into a conflict far from its shores, a conflict that would test the mettle of its armed forces and the resolve of its people. The Lions' response: immediate actions and strategic planning. The news of Argentina's invasion of the Falkland Islands on April 2, 1982, sent shockwaves through British society and the corridors of power. Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, known for her steely determination, vowed to liberate the islands and uphold British sovereignty. Within days, a naval task force centered around the aircraft carriers HMS Hermes and HMS Invincible steamed south towards the South Atlantic. This hastily assembled force, over 8,000 miles from home, faced a daunting challenge to retake the islands from a numerically superior Argentine force. Key to British strategic planning was the establishment of air superiority. The Royal Navy's Sea Harriers, operating from the carriers, would prove instrumental in countering the threat posed by Argentine fighter jets. Meanwhile, ground forces, spearheaded by the Royal Marines and the Parachute Regiment, prepared for amphibious landings and a grueling ground campaign. The British government, under Thatcher's leadership, also engaged in intense diplomatic efforts, seeking international support for their cause. The United States, while officially neutral, provided valuable logistical and intelligence assistance. The sea becomes a battlefield, naval engagements and air power. The vast expanse of the South Atlantic became a theatre of intense naval and air operations. The sinking of the Argentine cruiser ARA General Belgrano by a British submarine on May 2nd was a major blow to the Argentine Navy and highlighted the vulnerability of surface ships to submarine attack. The Royal Navy, however, was not immune to losses. On May 4th, the HMS Sheffield, a Type 42 destroyer, was struck by an Argentine Exocet missile, killing 20 sailors and injuring many more. The sinking of the Sheffield underscored the threat posed by Argentine air power, even if their pilots often lacked the training and experience of their British counterparts. Throughout the conflict, the Sea Harriers, armed with Sidewinder missiles, engaged in numerous dogfights with Argentine Skyhawks and Mirages. The Sea Harriers, though outnumbered, proved their worth, claiming over 20 Argentine aircraft shot down, while not a single British aircraft was lost in air-to-air combat. This air superiority proved decisive in the battles to come.